Okay, here's how to get $6,000 in 8 hours. Gosh, that's almost $1,000 an hour for your idea. And that's what this internet is all about nowadays. Are people getting that kind of money? And actually, that's just the beginning of what this guy's going to do too, because he got a product that he made in his backyard. You heard about makers, and we talked about them earlier. These are the people who just get out and make things, man. Don't go to the mall and buy all your junk that you're going to throw away and can't fix or anything. Learn how to make a lot of things yourself. And this is what he's all about. He's not a guy who went to MIT, computer lab school and got a PhD. No, he tinkers around in his backyard and works with the local maker organizations. You can find these people around anywhere in the country. They teach you how to make things. We like 3D printers. How you can make little, make one of these vases in a 3D printer. And it's all open source information. Nothing you have to buy, nothing you have to experience that you have to pay big money for or anything. People there teach you for free how to do things. And that's what he got involved, making all these neat things. And what he's done now, though, is that a 3D printer, when you use one of these things, they're good for prototypes. But now you have to make maybe a dozen. Before you make like 5,000 in manufacturing. See, the printer, takes a long time to make. It could take 12 hours, 20 hours or something to make something that big. And now he's developed a machine that could take a mold and knock these out in like 20 minutes. Instead of 20 hours, which is a great idea. And he did it all himself, and he made it all himself, just in his basement or backyard or at the local maker factory where he's working. Actually, when I was running this weekend down Washington, D.C., downtown, I love running downtown Washington, D.C. on Saturday and Sunday morning when big city and nobody's there. They're making they have one of these maker organizations right on Connecticut Avenue. You come in and you use their benches to work, and they teach you how to do all this stuff. And I guess there's some kind of low fee to use this. But man, this is what we're going to have to do in this country now, is start making things again instead of buying them from all over the world, or making things and have them mass produced maybe in a country that you could do it cheaper and then sell them to the rest of the world. If we don't start making stuff, man, I don't know where we're going as a country. We can't just be buying stuff from everywhere else. We got to start making stuff. That's what economic development is all about. If we don't have economic development, we're not going to grow as a society. So we're going to get smaller and smaller incomes instead of growing like we have for most of our history. So that's what the world is about. And that's why watch this guy. He's an important part of what the future's about, that anybody in a background's garage, he's in the middle of Indiana. He's not out in Silicon Valley or Washington, D.C. or Boston, just in the middle of the country doing stuff like this, making things. And what's neat about his daughter, who's like 9 years old, is doing it too. Well, Mark, man, this is an incredible product, man. You taught me so much about making my own stuff in the world and not going to the store and buying anything, because you got a tool now. If you could build a new product and not only just make one on a 3D printer. If people know 3D printers, you can get 3D printers at your local maker, show and things like this. But now you have a way to take that initial product and make a dozen or 2 dozen, in just a few minutes. Now with this machine that's over your shoulder, looks like looks like you're going to make smoothies with it, but it really makes like dolls and fishing lures or little plastic toys for people, and it just seems to be taking the world over. You're getting money on crowdfunding, on Kickstarter for this thing, and you're starting a whole new career. How'd you get into this thing?
It's just been since I was little, it's been making things and come up with ideas and build things. And there's always got to be a better way of doing something, is my mentality. So to come up with the Rotomake, it filled a need. Basically, starting out, it filled a need, just like you explained there. I can 3D print something, but then when I want multiple copies of it, it just takes a lot of time. you're talking hours to do something. Where if a lot of times you'll print a hollow part, and that's the end use is a hollow part. So you can take those, you can make a silicone mold, or you can even one step back behind that is you can print your mold itself. So you could actually 3D print your mold, use a 2-part urethane resin air cure, put it in the machine, rotational cast it, and now you've got a hollow part.
So if you were like a jewelry maker with some little, tchotchkes they're making out of plastic or something like that, you could make 100 of these things in no time, right?
Right. Yeah. You're taking the time from hours down to minutes.
Yeah.
And the thing is, once you get one mold made, you can use that one mold, and like you say, you can make hundreds. You can, depending on how you take care of your mold, you can take hundreds of them things and copy them over and over and over, fast. You look at
your option is really sending it out to be manufactured, 100 or 1,000 times, right? And
right,
that's going to take forever.
Yeah, and it's a bridge between the cost of taking your one part. Now I want to go and make an injection mold of it. Now you're talking thousands of dollars to get the injection mold made, to get a manufacturer lined up to make your mold, injection mold it and stuff. Yeah, your end use. If you're going to make 100,000 of these things, you're definitely not going to do one at a time. But it's the bridge between making one and making, say, 5,000 or 1,000 of the same thing. It's a bridge to use in between there in a desktop, footprint for a machine
we have 3D printers that make us the first one now. So, and if people don't have a home 3D printer, they could go to like one of the groups you hang out in, the maker people have 3D printers. They'll show you how to get this done, and you make one. Now, and you said the furthest step is when you need 5,000 of these suckers, but you may only need a dozen or 100, and that's where you come in, right?
Yes, exactly, where we come in, and there's artists out there that, hey, I've done a sculpture, a bust of this thing, and I want to make a limited edition run of them.
Ooh, that's wonderful.
So they can do they can make their clay, model to begin with, and make a silicone mold off of that. And now I'm going to do a limited edition run of 25. So you're not investing. You don't. Your investment is. Yeah. To get the thing, is you're cutting the price way down. So
you'll pay for the machine just in one operation like that.
Yeah, if you the right time and stuff. An example that we did is why would you hollow cast something? Well, you would hollow cast something for 2 reasons: weight and material. I've got a product. I've got an item that I rotocast. It goes on the top of a post. It's a horse sculpture. We'll do that solid. You can take the mold, you can pour it solid, and you're going to end up with $8-9 worth of resin in that one mold.
And heavy.
And it's heavy. So you take the exact same mold, the exact same thing, put very little, put a lot less material in it, rotational cast it, which when you rotational cast a part, gravity, as it's turning, the stuff is curing and basically sticking to the mold.
So it's not full cast, it's just the edges that you show and the bottom, and nobody knows. It's like that Easter egg bunny you were telling me about, that's hollow in the middle.
When you're a kid, you bite open an Easter egg.
Hey, where's all that chocolate?
I got robbed. But see, that way then you can go in the weight and the time. So the horse example, I've got $8-9 worth of resin doing it solid. And casting it hollow, I've got $2.25 worth of resin in it.
Wow.
So right off the bat, on every one, I'm saving $6 on every part. And, if you got to do 100 of them, there's $600 in your pocket. You just paid for the machine.
So to find the Rotomake, but now it's rotomake.com is the best place to start, right? And then you could go to Kickstarter, be one of the first in your block to get one of these things. So you're making things out in the basement or the garage or whatever, because it's like having a desktop printer, but you're making stuff, right? Well,
Yeah, and that's my goal. I would like to have this on every bench.
every bench, wonderful. Well, Mark, thank you so much for sharing everything you do and for encouraging people, particularly in America. We need more people like you to tell us how to make things ourselves. And to learn more about RotoMake, and that's MAAK, ROTOMAAK.com, right?
Yes, yes, yes. That
Thank
is.
you, Mark. Give
Thank
my
you.
best to your daughter, too.
Thank you.
Okay, so now start making stuff. Start making stuff for the rest of us. And learn how to make a lot of your own stuff. I mean, this is what I think organic farming is about. In backyard, you can grow all the vegetables you want. We're spending too much energy buying stuff, and we don't have to. We could be making a lot more. And I think this is where our society is going.